day. Walked in the dressing room. I figured the tie match. This was the hat I wore over.
There
so
you go. There you go. So when I was saying this to start the show, that God gives everybody gifts.
Yeah.
But there's a price for all the gifts.
It is.
You came into this league. Why wouldn't you run? You ran in high school. You ran in college.
That's what I did all my life, since Pop Warner.
And it
high
worked.
School. I was one of the guys who could never get tackled. I was one of the guys who never went down. So when I got to the NFL, that mentality didn't change. I used it to the best of my ability, and my high school coach always told me, trust your legs more than you trust your arm, and I lived with that throughout my entire career.
And, of course, because it rewarded you. It made you a millionaire. It made you Michael Vick.
It did, and it moved the chains. When things got tough, when I was inaccurate, erratic, I was able to make the plays that I needed to make to keep the chains moving and to continue to win games.
But Andrew Luck now has missed an entire year. Carson Wentz is going to miss this great playoff run. When was the moment?
Sad.
It's the worst. Michael, when was the moment that you said, a light goes on, that you literally had to change the way you played?
Yeah, I think it was in 2010 when I was with Philly. We was making a playoff run, and I got hurt down the stretch. And I think if I'd have stayed healthy, we would have positioned ourselves better going into the postseason. In 2011, we come out, we're having a good year. The first 3 games of the season, I have a concussion. I think I have a wrist contusion, and then I break my ribs. And this all came from running around and trying to move and trying to pick up the extra yards and do the things
Not even score touchdowns, just move the chains.
Yeah, just trying to move the chains, trying to get the extra yard. That was my problem. I tried to do too much at times, and it cost me a lot. It cost me a lot of games. That streak that Eli had, I could never have that.
You know, Phillip Rivers never gets hurt. Eli never gets hurt. Once you started being a guy that throws it away, do you look back now and think, God, I could have been in this league for another 7 years?
Yeah, when I look back, and sometimes when I wake up in the morning, I think about the times where I should have ran out of bounds. I should have got down because it's hard to get out of bed. But, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. It's what made me who I was and as an athlete. But we have to understand that longevity is the key. A lot of guys in the league are mobile, and they use it as a mechanism to, help their team win. And we get it. We understand it's entertaining. But, my God, at the end of the day, when you have an injury like what happened to Carson Wentz yesterday, I felt like I lost a teammate. I was so eager to see these guys in the postseason and what he would be able to do. And for the city of Philadelphia, I knew it was going to be
and they gave you a chance, by the way. You love Philadelphia because they gave
Philly.
They gave you a chance.
Yeah, I love Philly. I love Atlanta. I love the Jets. Some people might not think. But there was a former team, and I love the Steelers, man. All 4 teams that I played for, I got a special place in my heart for them, so I root for them to the end.
So, Big Ben, you played for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I was saying is, we all know Ben's great, but because of Brady, Favre, and Manning, he often gets lumped, and even Breeze is beloved. That picture of Breeze holding his baby in the Super Bowl, that he kind of gets, even you walked into this league and you were something he wasn't. Ben gets kind of relegated to 3rd, 4th all time.
Yeah.
What blew you away when you played with him?
Just his competence, the way he approached the game. Ben's a hard worker, and he comes into the film room. You barely have to give him anything. Just tell him what the defense is doing, what to look for. Our offensive coordinator at the time and a quarterback coach did a great job of just always explaining the game plan, but they didn't go into too much depth about what the game plan entailed. Ben kind of figured that out himself. Todd Haley will make suggestions. And then Ben will just take it from there. He can actually go into a game and call a whole game himself from the line of scrimmage. And that's the liberty that he has. That's the experience that he has. And it's the smarts that he possesses. It's amazing.
Le'Veon Bell, I said this before the season started. He's remarkable.
Yeah.
But, Michael, he's at 360 touches.
That's a lot.
Bro, we got a month to go in the regular season.
And then the postseason.
So he could have another 140 touches. You can't have 500 touches in January. Do you worry about his health? You know him.
I worry about the longevity part of it, but as far as the duration of the season, Le'Veon Bell works just as hard as Antonio Brown. And I know people heard about how hard Antonio Brown works, after practice. before practice, during practice. He never takes a moment off, and you know, he never takes his health for granted. Le'Veon Bell is the same way. You'll see Le'Veon Bell eating right, you know, making sure he sleeps right, you know, taking care of his body after practice. Those guys stay late. So I don't question that part of it. But, you know, 2 to 3 years from now, it should be a concern, and they will have to police that.
You know, it's a little bit like a Major League Baseball pitcher. If Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers, goes into the postseason and they ask him to start on short rest, you can make it in that moment, but Justin Verlander may come back next year and just not have the legs, not have. Okay, so I want to talk about Seattle and Jacksonville. By the way, they're both really good. Seattle's been good for years. Jacksonville stinks for years, but they've got a lot of players. Why, of all the guys that run, Russell Wilson doesn't miss 6 years now, Michael. He's never missed a start. And you're about his size. I know both of you pretty well. You're both about 6, just barely.
He's a little shorter than me, too.
Why did you get dinged? You're faster than him probably in a 40. What is his gift? Why doesn't he get hurt?
I think Russell's gift is the fact that he doesn't put himself in harm's way. And then it's like he got eyes in the back of his head. I watch him sometimes, and you know, I try to put myself in his shoes, what I've done in this situation. You know, if 2 guys are coming and you see Russell spin out and just make guys look like fools, and then buys another extra 6 or 7 seconds to throw the ball downfield, which is a lot because he can extend plays. And then the story that I heard yesterday about him running around the mall. And
that was the one. He told me that last week.
Yeah, just being able – that's what he looks like. It looks like he's trying to get through a lot of people, you know, just to find one guy. And the things he does, not too many guys in the league can do. And I wanted to say this yesterday, but we didn't have the time.
Right.
You know, he's a guy that makes everybody around him better, but he does more for his team than any other quarterback in the league.
I totally agree.
Any other quarterback in the league.
He has
and
no
that's just,
running game.
Yeah, and it's nothing special. You know, it's nothing special about his game or what he does. He just gets it done. I mean, and looks good doing it. And it's a lot of improv, but he's not moving. He's not running fast.
He's not a
doesn't
burner.
Have a strong arm, you know, but he's just so consistent, man. You got to love it.
Yeah, I think he has an incredibly high football IQ.
Oh, he's smart. Yeah, he's a smart kid.
Really, really smart dude.
Really smart guy.
Michael Vick joining us, Fox NFL analyst. Staying in that game, the Jags fans throwing beer. Listen, every time I get a player on, I ask him about a horror story. And whether it's a racial slur, it's a vulgarity, stuff thrown at you. Do you have a horror story?
I mean, I have stories where, well, I got 2. You know, one time I was in Philadelphia at one point. The first year I got there, 2009, I wasn't starting. And, you know, Coach Reed had me running the Wildcat, throw a play in and play in, you know, here and there. And it was a play wide. It was like 3rd and 3. And, you know, I kept the ball off the fake. I rolled out. Nobody was open. I tried to run and get 3 yards, and I got stopped, and they hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
I'm running in the locker room, and I hear a guy in the stands say, "Mike, you can't even get 3 yards? You suck. We don't need you." And right there, that was kind of crushing to me. Like,
because you weren't a star yet.
Yeah, I wasn't a star. I was just now coming back, and I'm like, I'm one of the most dynamic guys to ever touch the football. And I couldn't get 3 yards, so that was the moment that kind of sunk in. But what really stands out in my mind, to my recollect, is when I was in Atlanta one time, it was just a New Orleans Saints fan who just kept telling me that I suck, I wasn't worth the money. And I made an obscene gesture. Yeah. Good thing social media wasn't big back then because I would have flooded the internet. But, yeah, I did something that I really regretted at the time and I learned from, but emotions can run high.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, Christine's saying this. If any of us were out with our – because football teams are families.
Yeah.
And so there's rookies, there's veterans. If you threw something at my family like this in Seattle,
you'll lose it.
It's so easy to say don't do this.
Right.
But people are, you know, we all forget. You guys wear helmets. We don't see your faces. You're gladiators. Yeah. You're dudes.
But this is the thing. Colin, the game of football, you learn a lot about yourself when you lose and how